Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first webcast of Lake Perry. We're here this evening to go over a lot of what we call the state of affairs for Lake Perry, kind of let you know where we're at, what's going on. It's been quite a long time since we met in person. This COVID thing has made us all slow down and kind of be observant of social distancing. So we did not put a meeting together because of that, an annual meeting. And this is not an annual meeting. It's simply what we call the state of affairs, kind of letting you know exactly where we're at. With me tonight is the whole board. Everyone from the board is here, as well as Rob Claggett. He's with Monty Hickey's firm called Forward/Technology. We give a real shout out to him for all the work he's done to put this together. It's been really, really good to work with, and without him, you wouldn't have this webcast tonight. So I'll have to say we're very appreciative of what he's been able to do. A couple housekeeping things. We're going to try to get this through pretty quickly. We don't want to waste your whole evening, but we want to get you as much information as possible. There should be a chat button for you, and you can ask us some questions as we go along. It will go to a chat box, and we have a moderator here who will be taking down those questions and recording them. And then after we get through our material, we'll answer as many of those as we can within reason. Some of the others we will take under consideration. We'll look into them, and then we'll get back to you at a future date. So saying that, we're going to move forward. The very first topic that we're going to discuss tonight is the utility company. As you know, a few years ago, actually in 2018, if I recall, there was some discussion at our annual meeting about the fact that the utility company was going to be sold. And the board got direction at that time to pursue purchasing that utility company. And we did exactly what you asked us to do. We were not pleased with the length of time that it took to get this accomplished, or the fact that we failed in our endeavor. But we also knew that we were into it far enough that we had to continue and see how well. It looked like we possibly could have won this. And to be honest with you, there's some other cases that are going right now that are identical to the ones we had, and they're still not resolving them. The Missouri Public Service Commission is kind of on the hot seat for some of the tactics that they've done in order to allow just one particular investor in the state of Missouri to continue to buy up all of these places. The one thing you're probably wanting to know is how much money we spent on this. $221,710.35 over a 3-year period. So that's the number that we spent. Now, to say that we lost is true, but also we've gained. What we've gained is the fact that our rates are now based on a lower value than the amount that they paid for the particular utility company. Had we not interjected and gotten into this, our rates would have escalated at a tremendous rate. Now, we were at least able to get that concession and to get it to drop to a level to where at least your rates are going to be lower for a longer period of time. You probably notice now that what your rates are basically what they were before. So not a whole lot of change there, and thankfully we were able to get that much accomplished. Next on the agenda, our topic is building inspection fees. We're getting some talk about that, and I want to make sure that we clarify what happened there. We were having some difficulty with people constructing out there, that they weren't following the code exactly. So we were getting some items built that did not meet certain standards. So over time, we decided it was probably important that we got a building inspector. And we had addressed this in the past, but was kind of difficult to find someone. Well, fortunate for us, an individual named Ray Jackson moved into the community. He came from Texas, and he was a building inspector there and has all the credentials. I have a letter from him talking about all of his credentials, what he's able to accomplish. He's very, very, very qualified to do what has to be done out there. He lives near Lake Perry. He lives at Parker's Lake. He's doing a lot of work there trying to get their homeowners association up and going. He's bought some other properties, cleaned up a bunch of stuff. He's pretty active. He is the building inspector for the city of Perryville, and so he does this on the side. It works out great for us. Like I said, if he's going to work, he can drop off and check things. If he's coming back from work, he can drop off and check things. And we've been fortunate that he's been, I would say, Johnny on the spot, because he really does stay on all of this and does a good job. Now, having said that, he's established his price for each of the different building permits. As you go get building permits now, you're going to find that they've escalated substantially because he has to make a lot of visits to inspect and make sure that they meet certain guidelines. Some of the new contractors that are going out there, as a matter of fact, I had a call from one the other day. They asked whether or not we follow the specific guidelines now with our inspector, and I said, yes, we do. And he was truly impressed that we had that set up. But just a rough idea, our fees, what we've charged before for permits, have stayed the same. So we're not charging any additional amount. The additional amount that's coming in is raised charges, and that all goes back to him. A couple examples, I could go through all of them, but I'll just have a couple examples. An addition to an existing structure is now $640. Boat dock and lift is $340. A driveway still remains at $25. Dredging and shoreline and boat slip excavation, $240. It's $2,200 for the first 2,500 square feet of a residence that you might want to build. Those are just some rough ideas. If you have a storage building, a portable one that's just brought in, it's $40 like it always was. If you construct it on site, it's $165. So those are just some items that I thought I would bring out that has to do with building inspections.
And we can put those on the website, right?
And we will put those on the website so you'll have some idea what those numbers are. Yes, thanks, Alan. Anything else, board members? Okay, moving into the next item is the cell tower. There's been some interest driven by the city of Perryville to potentially put a AT&T cell tower out at the lake. The city of Perryville met with Annette Fullerton from AT&T Towers, and she's out of Dallas, Texas. They have, for some reason, come by Perryville to look at some items, and Brent asked them if they would consider a cell tower out in our area. He wrote a substantially great letter to them, and in there he addressed Lake Perry a number of times as a privately owned gated community that includes a restaurant, a swimming pool, and a 200-acre lake. It has nearly 500 permanent residences and is estimated as many as 600 to 900 people are at the lake at any given moment. He's got a lot of good information. He did ask me some of that demographic so that he could at least have that there. He said that it's the Lake Perry is the second largest an unincorporated lake resort about 20 miles west of town. So what he's saying is, of Perryville itself, the next largest population that's in Perry County is located at Lake Perry. So I also then will be sending a letter tomorrow in behalf of Lake Perry, addressing our needs, the fact that we really certainly need that service out there for people that want to work from home, for students that are needing to do virtual learning, or just for the communication whenever it comes to injuries, medical situations, fires, whatever it might be, that we would have some ability to get access there very much quickly. Okay. The next we're going to talk about is paving. Our paving loan that we've had now is almost paid off. We'll have it done soon. So we've sent bid packets out to 4 contractors. They will be we're going to pave all the roads that are left there to be paved, including paving the top of the dam. And we'll be checking all the bids, and as long as it falls within the parameters of what we think we can pay for in a 5-year period, we'll go ahead and do it all. We may have to pull some out if it gets too expensive. if the asphalt prices get too crazy or whatever might happen there. But at least the process is starting, so there'll be a whole lot more roads paved and hopefully everything paved if it works out. There's a pre-bid meeting with all 4 contractors that's going to take place on February the 10th. The bids come in on they're due April the 26th. They'll be opened right after that. And then the first part of May will be the beginning of the paving construction, and it should be done by the end of May. So good news there when it comes to paving and what we've got structured for that. Next is the election. What I want to mention there is because we did not have an annual meeting, we had checked with the attorney on what our options are as far as we had 2 directors whose terms had come up for election, and that was Alan and Vince. They both chose to stay, which was fine. The attorney said that was fine too. We could just push everybody's term off 1 more year. So then this year, when we hold the annual election, we will then just vote for Alan and Vince's positions. When will our next annual meeting be? We're not sure. We're waiting to see what the COVID restrictions are or what's in place before we make any kind of determination on that. It's supposed to be the last Sunday in April. Not sure that's going to happen, but we'll keep you up and let you know exactly what's going on. May need to be virtual like we have this right now, and we are looking into the possibility of online voting. That's pretty cumbersome, and it's difficult to do in the sense that the security as far as whether or not you are the one that actually are voting or who is becomes a difficult situation to work out. But we're working with the IT people to see exactly what we might be able to do with that. Next, I'd like to talk about the restaurant. We're looking for a new operator for 2021. There's some ideas out there with some different things to go, whether or not we just keep it as maybe a concession stand as opposed to more of a restaurant. There's a lot of things to consider there, and we're looking at people that have contacted us about possibly running it. So not sure. The health department thinks we have some issues with it also, and we have to make sure that we address those before we move forward. Next is security. Item number 8 for us. We're looking at increasing our security for 2021. The people that we used last year have submitted a bid to us, and it's basically a much larger expanded service for us, more times. So I think we're just kind of in the infancy right now of getting that together. The bid has come in and we have to study it and see whether or not that meets with exactly what we're looking for. But right now it's looking pretty good, and the price is something I think that we can set up in the budget and be okay with. Next is our financial position. I'm going to give you numbers that relate to December 31st of 2020. So the calendar year that just closed just a few weeks ago. You'll have an idea kind of where we're at and where we're headed. Currently, under Lake Perry Lot Owners Association, we have about $87,000 in our account on that. We're down on paving loans, down to only $22,500. We pay $6,500 a month on that. And so you can see it's not going to be but a few months, and those will be completely paid off. The other thing on that company, Lake Perry, is our assessments are coming in a little bit faster than what was budgeted, which is always a good thing. For the year of 2020, our assessment income came in at $508,000. We had some old assessment money that ended up coming in. Plus, as I said, the assessments are coming in a little bit faster in the end of 2020 than they normally do. We had budgeted $462,000, so we're up nearly $46,000 over what we thought we would be at the end of the year. Bottom line, when you look at it, everything else, according to budget, was pretty darn close. We had some lot sales for the year. They actually totaled $34,350. and our expense on that's around $24,000, what we had in the lot. So we made around $10,000 in lot sales for the year. So having said that, it was kind of a unique year with COVID. There was a lot of people that wanted to be at the lake. So we saw a bigger rash of people interested in buying lots. I think it was probably one of our better years for the sale of some of the lots. We still have some left, of course. If you know anybody that's interested, let us know. We keep getting inquiries. I've had 2 again today. It's kind of amazing how many people are out there still looking for lots. Mostly, to be honest with you, mostly camping lots, but that doesn't matter. Whatever we can sell and make this place great, that's what we're going to work on. On Perry County Land Company, that's the operating company where we pay for the maintenance, we pay for the employees, we pay for most all the bills. At the end of December, we had $9,800 in that bank account. Still pretty good. The only thing there is the Kubota. We have those 2 tractors that we bought. As a matter of fact, one of them, the large tractor, was paid off in December. So we just have a loan now of 0% interest on the smaller tractor, and that will last for a while. It's only a $300 and some a month payment. So we'll have that over a little bit of extended time. We have our line of credit, which is $30,000 loan that we have. That's something we pretty much do every year. When we get towards the end of the year, we run out of money and we borrow money. It's always $30,000, and it was the same this year. So that's worked out fine. As far as a comparison with what our income and expenses are, really close. We budgeted $389,780 for revenue, and we brought in $389,016. So between our budget and what we brought in, it was just around $750 difference. Other than that, our expenses, as I go through those, our cleaning expenses were down for the year. Our insurance, it shows to be down a little bit, but for some reason, they didn't bill us in December for what we needed to pay, so it really fell right in line with what our budget was. Our labor for the maintenance and Bobby's work was almost identical to our budget, which is right at $91,000. Legal fees were down about $3,000 from the budget. Our repairs were, we budget $59,000. Our repairs were $55,000. Rock is going way down since we're paving more and doing a lot more work. That's dropped. We budgeted $12,000 and only spent $5,000. Security labor was $14,000. Of course, we added a lot more because of these new people, and we budgeted $6,000. So we were off quite a bit on that. But supplies, one year it's big, next year it's not. It's hard to budget. We budgeted $35,000 and only spent $20,000. Other than that, I think utility-wise, yeah, we budgeted $48,000, spent $54,000. The biggest jump there was trash. We added some new containers for the year. With all the people that were out there, because of COVID or whatever, we ended up with a tremendous amount of trash, and in many times it was piling up and was way out of control. So we had added some more trash dumpsters, and that certainly helped that situation. That's all I have on the financials. We feel comfortable that we're in really good shape with that. Next is amendments to the restrictions. Now, what's happened is we've got 4 new proposals to present to you all, and we'll probably, after the board gets the drafts all completely lined out, we'll probably try to get those out to you at our annual meeting or whatever we can do somewhere at the end of April, first part of May, so that you can start voting on these. Now, what this requires is 51% of you all will have to approve each one of the 4. So whichever ones you approve, obviously we can adopt, but those, now these are not coming from, nor are they being endorsed by the board. These are items that have come to our attention over time that different lot owners would like to do. And as a matter of fact, one of them in particular comes directly from the lawyer that he would like, no, 2 of them are actually from the lawyer that he would like to get clarification on. So that's why they're coming to you. And I'm going to give you just a brief title of what they are, so that you can start being aware that these are going to be coming to you probably in the next few months. The first one has to do with Eaves and Pavilions having some metal on the eaves, rather. So we're looking at that for pavilions, outbuildings, and boat slips, that maybe we would allow some metal on the eaves, okay? Number two has to do with water restrictions. Our actual situation with that is not so good the way it's interpreted. So they'd like to clean up that and clarify some of the verbiage so that whenever we ever have an issue with a water vessel or anything else, that we've got this corrected. The third item is called summer camping permits. This is something you'll hear a lot more about. I think you've probably heard something about this in the past, but this is something that's going to be brought to your attention, and you can decide what you want to do there. And the fourth one has to do with future subdivision of raw land lots. In our Plat 8, we've got what we call raw land lots, and it's really hard to interpret exactly what this restriction meant. And so we've had an attorney, a real estate attorney from Clayton, Missouri, that's interpreted this. We've also had our attorney interpret this, and they both come up with the same conclusion. It's very difficult to understand exactly what's supposed to be done here. So they want to clarify that. And so what would happen is we would have some amendment to that particular future subdivision and raw land lot provision so that we could get that clarified. Okay? Moving right along. We're doing good. We're going to be done here quickly. I like that. And you probably do too. Restaurant and pool. Two things there. First of all, the pool. We've got some bids on renovating the pool. That pool's 50 years old now, and it's needing some TLC. We've gotten some bids from a reputable company in St. Louis, ranging anywhere from $104,500 to $189,400, depending on what we choose to do with it. It definitely needs some help. Each person we talk to says, do not tear it out. Use the concrete you have now. Just fix it. So that's what we're looking at. We're also looking at other, maybe more innovative things to do too, so that our pump system and everything else will work so much better. So just stay tuned on that also. The restaurant slash meeting area, whatever you want to call it, we're still looking at potentially building something in the future. Don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet. We've got the people, the engineers drawing that up again, but at a much lower scale, not the Taj Mahal that they came out with the last time. When I talked to them, they basically said that they had a new guy that had come in and they let him run with that last deal. And he had all kinds of ideas because he could do so much more on the computer. And so he came up with stuff that was probably more than what we really needed. So anyway, to make a long story short, we're going to be looking at something much more scaled down than that and see how we can afford to pay for it. We've got some ideas. I don't know if you've ever heard of a special assessment. I don't know if we're going to go that route, but it is something to consider. If you got questions about a special assessment or anything like that in the future, please let us know. We're just in the infancy on that a little bit also. Next has to do with boat slips. Currently, we have 39 people on a list looking for a place to put their boat. These are all people that have boats already. They just take them in and out all the time, and they don't have a place to leave them out there. So we're working up something. I'd done that back in 2015, where we worked up some proposals on what it would cost to put a boat slip area together. We've already done the core drilling so that we know that we can go ahead and excavate if we need to. Looking at possibly, just a thought for now, possibly putting in 3 boat slips, which would be 36 spaces. That pretty much accommodates what we're looking at. So anyway, just keep it in mind if you have some information on that, or, anything that you know of, maybe you have some expertise in that area, you can add that to us and we can see. But we're talking about that, and it is something that will pay for itself, in the future. With the proposals that I've got, we would probably have to fund it with a little bit of money each month, but not a tremendous amount. So keep that in mind. And the last thing that I have on here has to do with something that has been done. You probably have all noticed that the culvert repair over by close to the restaurant was taken care of this year. It was a really big deal. The pipes underneath there were rusted, collapsed. They were in terrible shape. It was going to erode the road away. So it's a pretty big capital improvement. We put it out for bids. We accepted the lowest bid, and they did a really fine job. So having said that, you guys have anything else to say?
Looks like we have a few questions.
A few questions. You have a bunch? Okay, hold on. We're going to try to get these questions together, and then maybe we can start working on some. Yeah.
So under utility company, where did the $200,000 get spent? How was it divided out? Who got the money?
Oh, I've got it here. I didn't specifically break it all out. The attorneys got the bulk of everything. I mean, most of the $200,000. The consultant, which was called Experience on Demand, and again, I should have broke all these numbers out exactly. They got the next largest. Then we had another. Then my fee was next, probably the next largest, and then the lowest was another engineering firm that we had to do an engineering group, and they were probably the lowest. So if I could always break that down in another meeting, but that's kind of the four parties that actually received some money from it.
Under building permits, where can lot owners go to get a list of permits required, and will that list be on the website?
That list will be on the website. All the permits are at our office. And so if you ever need one, I email them out to anybody that needs them if they've got access to a computer and can get the email. So I send them out. The bulk of these permits go out by email. We don't have very many people come in or request them in any other way. So most all of them go out by email.
The cost to add a garage.
A detached garage, $365.
Under paving, what amount do you think can be paid off in a 5-year term?
Roughly $350,000 in a 5-year term.
Does that include Tanglewood and the beach area?
Yes, it does.
And can we let the lot owners know who gets the paving bid in case they wanted to get work done while they were there?
Yes, we intend for the lot owners to know who that is. We've already told all the contractors that probably there'll be some people out there that want some paving done and could be done at the same time that they're out there. Yes.
Under annual meeting, does this move the terms 1 year for everyone?
Yes, everyone's term moves 1 more year.
Under security, will there be security at each gate?
That's to be determined. Will there be security at each gate? That's to be determined. We're not certain if we can afford to have all of that, or if we can get some kind of rotation where there's somebody there at any given time.
But how much will it cost, and what do we get for the cost?
Is this for security?
For security.
Yeah, right now, we just have a bid, and we don't know whether or not we're going to stay with that particular amount of times for them to be there, whether we want to escalate that and go for more or go for less. So the answer is we're not sure yet.
You just have time to repeat the question before you answer.
Okay.
Can we email the financials that you reviewed?
Can we email the financials that we just reviewed? Yes. The problem we got there is we don't have a secure site for you all to get those, and so anyone could actually get them. So we got to be careful that we submit information that deals with just our gated community to anybody that could possibly see it. If you're really interested in these financials, let me know. We can make some kind of arrangement to get that done.
Under the restaurant, restriction changes, sorry. Can you explain the summer camp permit?
The question is, can I explain the summer camping permit? Sure. I mean, if you're specific about that one, I'll be glad to say something to you about what it's about. It basically says, and again, we have to approve this before it's done. All lot owners in good standing with the association will be eligible to purchase a summer camping permit to camp annually from May 15th through September 15th. That's the bulk of it. There's some more verbiage in there that deals with that. But basically, you'll pay a fee in order to leave your camper there for that particular time. I think the thing that also goes with that is there's a lot of compliance that goes with that. In other words, if you don't keep it clean and neat, you don't fold it up, when you leave and all of that, that it's subject to tow at your cost.
Should you tell them plat 1 and 2, basically?
And this is plat 1 and 2, obviously.
That's just plat 1 and 2 is the only ones that will affect.
Yes.
Will the lot owners be given time to review the amendments, changes before calling them for a vote?
Will all the lot owners have time to review the amendments before the vote? Absolutely. These will be votes that will go out to you, and you will be taking your time to vote and send them back. We'd like to obviously have a time frame so that they can come back timely. Otherwise, if we leave them with you for a long period of time, if you're like me, you'll set them aside or lose them or something. So yes, there will be some time for you to review them.
Under restaurant and pool, will you be adding some shade, some sort of shade area when it's redone?
Restaurant and pool, will be adding some kind of shade area. Good question. I don't know that for sure. I mean, if we put trees and stuff, it's going to take a long time. So it would have to be some sort of an awning, some sort of an area that would have some shade. So we can start to look into that.
Random things. Can there be more boat trailer parking by the beach?
Can there be more what? I'm sorry.
Boat trailer parking by the beach?
Can there be more boat trailer parking by the beach? I don't have a ready answer for that question. Do you all have anything to say about that?
Boat trailer?
Boat trailer parking by the beach.
I wouldn't know where you'd put it.
And then I guess my response to that is, are you talking over a period of time or just daily as you put your boat in, or what are we talking about exactly there?
Has the barbecue pit picnic area by the restaurant been replaced?
Has the barbecue pit by the restaurant been replaced? I'm gonna pass that on to Vince.
Where's it at?
Is that little picnic area close to where the trailers are parked in that parking lot?
Oh, no, they haven't been replaced, no.
The answer is no.
Will we be adding fish to Lake Erie?
Will we be adding fish to Lake Erie? Yeah, I've talked to Joe Petcher about that. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. He's our fish guy. He pretty much handles all of that and done a great job, but I don't know much about what his plans are for Lake Erie. We can ask him and see what he's got to say.
Will the front gate be repainted?
Will the front gate be repainted? That should be on our list of things to do this year, yes.
The west gate boat ramp needs repairs. Can that be done?
I think of where it's blown out, the wind got a hold of it, moved it, didn't it?
The west
The
gate?
west gate boat ramp.
Oh,
The ramp, we're talking about the ramp.
What's wrong with it?
Filling up with sediment again.
We just scraped it.
Yeah, they dredged it out this week. Oh, that right?
Yeah, they dredged it last week. I'm hoping that's all that it is that needs to be repaired. If there's something more, please let us know.
I won't say last week, but we dredged it while the water was. Yeah. Yes.
Where are you considering putting boat slips?
Where are we considering putting boat slips? There where the field is at the west gate area. That's our only area that we got big enough that we can put anything in. So it's still in the infancy. I keep using that word tonight, but the reality is that's true. We haven't made a solid decision. We have to make sure it's economically feasible and that it's the right place to put it. When we look through the whole lake area, we're having a hard time finding any other area that would accommodate as much as we need. That would accommodate it. We did core drillings back in 2015. We know already what we can do there and that it would accommodate it. So there's a lot to go on there yet. We've got that creek there we got to be talking about and looking into. So there's a whole lot to that particular area yet that we're not ready to jump on.
This one, they have 6 people using the same driveway, could it be considered for paving?
6 people using the same driveway? No. If it's not one of our roadways, no, we would not be paying for that.
Are the East Gate cameras working well enough to catch non-residents dumping trash? Have we caught any of these folks? And how did press the issue?
Okay, I assume that's a front gate. When they say the east gate, is that right?
Yeah, do the trash and stuff.
Right there. Yes, our cameras have done pretty good. We've installed some new cameras, which their resolution is so much better. So we're able to do a whole lot better with that. What have we done? Yes, we have already sent out notification to several people that we've been able to identify them by their license plates or whatever and let them know that they've dumped something there incorrectly. Gave them a period of time to get that out of the dumpster before they actually pick it up on Tuesdays, which they're going to start picking up on Mondays now. But we've given them enough time to do that. If they do, we're okay. If not, we send them a violation letter.
We do still need some cables run.
Larry says we still need some cables run to finish up our camera system, so we'll be working on that.
There are residents of the lake that have volunteered to create a better, secure website where documents can be downloaded, county permits, etc. Why don't we look at setting one up?
Different website, they're saying that there's been some volunteers asked to do something. I don't know who all the volunteers are. We have had a couple of them contact us about helping out with the website, and we have gotten back to them. So if it's the same people you're talking about, we're still in discussion with them.
Please describe the concerns of the health department regarding the restaurant. Have we begun to determine the cost of improvements?
The health department, yes, the question was, have we been able to determine the issues with the restaurant, with the health department, and have we determined the cost to fix them? The health department has just, in this situation, has just contacted me in the summer about some issues that were there. All I know is they have a new person on board and she's very diligent in trying to get specific things done. So I have to get a hold of her and find out exactly what has to be done. So currently we don't know what it's going to cost to fix them. It seems like the majority of it has to do with the sewage.
How long before we find out about the AT&T tower?
How long before we know about the AT&T tower? There's no way to know that. I mean, we're hope that we get one. That's the big thing. We got to hope that we get one. But something that can be done. If you all are interested in this, you know, the more letters that go to this lady saying that you want it and the reasons why, you know, I can get you the address on the website or I can have it sent out to you if you want it, and you can send a letter to her. The more letters she gets, you know, the better chance we have to get something done.
How will no votes be calculated? I'm assuming that's restriction on the restriction changes.
How will what now?
The amendments for the restrictions changes. How will no votes be calculated?
How will no votes be calculated on the thing? Well, just like anything else, yeses are yeses and nos are nos. We have 613 lot owners currently. Now that'll change by the time we do, you know, the actual vote. So we need 51% of those to say yes. And if they don't say yes, then obviously, you know, it can't pass. So we have to have 300 plus in order for this restrictions changes to pass. Now, what I've mentioned to the lawyer is that each one of the items we had are going to be a separate vote. We're not going to put them all, package them all together and, you know, try to pass it all that way. They're each going to have their own separate vote.
Has there been discussion among the board regarding the proliferation of high-powered UTVs and their operation by underage drivers?
Has there been any discussion with the board on the proliferation of high-speed UTVs and youth that are driving them? Okay, yes, we talked about that many, many times, and you have to understand that's part of the reason why we're beefing up the security, because this security company understands what needs to be done and has done a pretty good job. Now, can we catch them every time something happens? No, but I think our idea has now been that that the restrictions that are violated, we're going to enforce and do something with those. And what that means basically is that if you see something and you can basically attest to it with you or maybe someone else there that can also prove that this has happened, and you send the violation letter in, we follow up on them. I think we're doing a really nice job of following up on these violations now that this process is going.
What about adding more boat slips to the current boat slips?
How about adding more boat slips to the current boat slips? We've thought about that, and we may still do some of that. We're not saying we won't. What we're trying our best to do is see whether or not we can secure those from the vacuum effect, if you want to call it, from windstorms and stuff when they raise those up. I know places like Lake of the Ozarks and all those have really long, big ones, but they have a good way to secure those so that they don't raise. I'm not sure where we're at with that, but that would certainly be a possibility to put some there.
I think Butch did a big presentation in 2015,
15.
maybe,
Mhm.
on the extension of.
Yes, okay. We'll look into that too. That's always part of this plan.
This gentleman said his wife is an employee of AT&T. If we email her the information.
Maybe she could reach out to them.
Great. Gentleman whose wife works for AT&T, so they might be able to help us out. This would be great.
Please put the AT&T information out in the email on the website so they can have it.
We can do that. AT&T information out for you all. We can do that.
Parking at the beach at Tanglewood is ridiculous. Oftentimes you can't get to the ramp. Signs need to be erected.
Yeah, a comment that the parking at the beach at Tanglewood Trails is very difficult. Probably some signage or some something to address that issue. So, okay.
Did you see the one on David Brooks? I'm talking about lot owners who don't vote.
Right. So there were several on clarification of the voting and changes. Why do we count owners that don't vote as yes vote? That's not how it's done.
Right.
So just, if you could clarify again how that vote works.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I was writing something down.
Well,
The question is,
that we, why do we count the owners that don't vote as a yes vote? That's not how it is.
why do we count the vote of those that are what?
That don't vote as a yes vote.
That don't vote as a yes vote. We do not. We do not count those as yes votes. You have to vote yes in order for it to be a yes vote. Period.
So there has to be.
Either yes or no.
It's a yes or a no, and if you don't vote, it's a no.
Yeah.
If you vote, it's a yes. If you do not vote, it's a no. Because you have to have enough yes votes to reach that 300 and something threshold. I hope that clears that up. That's it? Well, we thank you all. It turned out to be really, really well. At 45 minutes, we had a nice state of affairs meeting. If you have any other comments, please let us know. We're happy to have done this, and I think it worked out well. It's the first time we tried it. There may be some blips or some glitches in this as we went along, but hopefully, by the looks of all what we had on the live chat, we certainly had a lot of people that got back to us, so we appreciate that. Anything else from the board?
No. Rick said, why can't they abstain from that?
Why can't they abstain from voting?
Yeah, from the yes or no vote.
Well, you can abstain if you choose. It's still a no vote. Yeah.
You gotta have a yes to hit your 50%. If not, then we don't hit then it won't pass.
That's exactly right. We need 51% in order for it to pass, and that has to be 51% yes votes. Any other comments? If not, we thank you all. Have a good evening, and hopefully we've been able to instruct you on how things are going. Hope you're pleased with the majority, at least, of things that are going on. The board here works really hard. I have a great board. They do a really, really good job. And so for that, I'm very pleased. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Exit stream.
We got some coming in.
Well, they'll still come for a little while. We'll have